Not every challenge needs to be solved with a gun. They can be handled through negotiation or subterfuge or a big hammer. Whenever your inhaler finishes off a stack of consumables, it will automatically reload itself with another stack of the same type if available. You can break down armor and weapons that you don't need to give you the parts you need to keep your gear in tip-top shape.
If you're hungry, there's meat turning on the spit outside. If you're bearing illness, find a place to lay your head down and I'll fetch you a poultice. Whatever your troubles with Edgewater, leave them at the gates and be welcomed here. Any questions, dear? I have been called that, among other things. Green Thumb, grandmother, the strange old lady who keeps flowers. But yes, Adelaide will do just fine.
Excuse me, Miss McDevitt? Sorry, it's just... You got such pretty trees in here.
Why, thank you. You're Robert's girl, aren't you? I remember when you were but a sprout. Thomas speaks of you often. Are you staying long? You should try some of my tobaccorn tea. I brew it in an old spittoon, but it's been cleaned. Reed Thompson? You here on behalf of that cold-eyed reptile? Let's hear it. What's Reed's idea of peace, then? Make amends. Spare me. Only thing Reed knows how to make is a mess. Like everything else that comes out of Edgewater, that peace offering is canned. I and my own are living just fine out here by ourselves. He would do such a thing. The question is, why would you agree to his plans? Cannery's got a regulator. You want ship parts, you ought to rip them out of the cannery's guts and leave us be.
Tempting.
If you're going down to the plant, you should divert power away from Edgewater and toward our end of the grid. Think about it. You'd be liberating an entire town from a lifetime of service to that odious cannery. Seems the sort of thing a hero would do. You've seen that miserable excuse for a town with your own lamps. Hollowed out workers laboring their lives away at the cannery, living off whatever scraps Spacer's choice throws them. You know that's true, don't you, Ms. Holcomb? Your father died of overwork. His heart gave out.
He was tired all the time, sure, but he was old, ma'am, and he raised me all by his lonesome.
Look what they did to this child. Lost her family to the company, and still she defends them. Life in Edgewater grinds to a halt. The cannery shuts down, workers desert in droves, and our own little camp grows and thrives. You bring power to Reed's town and you'll be killing us. Reed knows it. He's counting on it. I trust you will listen to your conscience.
Neither is a good option. Either way, you're fucking people over. Oh god. I may have tuned the settings a bit too high.
Where are we headed?
Anything else I can do for you? I am getting old, you know. These two lamps of mine are not as bright as they once were. Or I might have seen you for what you are. My dear, we are all visitors in a momentary universe. Our lives flicker in and out like the guttering of a flame. Here now, then gone. Me and mine are just carrying on as best we can, trying to live our lives in a way that does not feel wasted. more of the colony felt the way you did, we'd have ourselves a proper revolution. I can't stop you from conducting your business down at the plant. I just want you to know that if you take our power away, you will have brought an end to our way of life. Not under Reed's watch. He and I would come to blows within a day, and he would never tolerate my tending to a garden. This is my home. It will be my home even if Reed cuts our power. Simple as that. That's because Reed was my boss. I was the cannery's one and only flavor specialist, you see. Remember that limited run of white chocolate saltuna? That was all me. My son worked in that cannery. When the plague started coming, he was one of the first to fall sick. We had a store of medicine locked away, but Reed refused to treat him. Said my boy didn't deserve treatment. Said the medicine would have been wasted on him. So I buried my boy in the cemetery, gathered my belongings, and left. That's as much of the story as you need to hear. A fish rots from the head down. I do not blame the town. I blame the leader.
We go together. Good news, I'm alive. Starting to feel a little better too. There's a group of deserters living out in the old botanical labs. They found a way to grow some food, or something that passes for food anyway. Adelaide boiled a pot of something green and leafy and told me to drink it twice a day for my symptoms, I suppose. Tastes atrocious, but I've been feeling better. It's nice to be away from the cannery. The labs have just enough power to run an aether wave, so I've been catching up on my serial dramas. Masked Marketeer, what would I do without you? Go crazy, most likely. Crack up, murder all my neighbors, and run screaming into the hills like some wild marauder. I don't know, that doesn't sound too bad. I could see myself leading a cadre of marauders. A band of bandits? Wait, that doesn't sound right. Band of bandits? What would we call ourselves? The Formidable 14. The 100 Hooligans, featuring Zoe, Bandit Queen. So that's it then. No more Edgewater for me. No more cannery, no more jumpsuits and gloves. Yes, ma'ams, and would you like another's? I don't know why I'm writing this down for posterity's sake, because I've always hated the cannery, and I don't think I'll ever have to look back to this journal many years hence and tell myself, oh wow, I did hate the Vale once, didn't I? Just because I got sick. Everybody gets sick. Well, okay, I got sick and grabbed a little too much Adrenatime. Is that really a crime? I gotta treat myself when I'm sick, don't I? Whatever happened to the personal responsibility and surviving by one's own bootstraps? Oh, but you misappropriate one box of Adrenatime and suddenly you're committing larceny. Well, today's the day, Zoe. Today's the day you take your destiny into your own hands. I was listening to Grace talk about the Marauder threat. Bands of wild, free-spirited bandits living in camps out on the hills, warming themselves by the light of barrel fires. Probably mounted the heads of their enemies on spikes as a warning to folk like me. Living a life of comfort and ease, free of any rules. I bet they could take the whole region if they were organized. I've been tucking away some of Adelaide's food, and I've got some spare cans of salt tuna. Should last me a couple weeks if I ration. Got some Adrenatime too. Everybody loves Adrenatime, even Marauders, right? I got odds those Marauders will let me throw in with them if I dangle a couple of syringes of Adrenatime before their eyes. This is gonna be great. Look out, Terra 2. Bandit Queen Zoe's origin story has just begun. I'm gonna have a whole gang of Marauders at my beck and call. Maybe I can even score some Rizzos.
Where are we headed?
One One of Zoe's journal entries reveals she secretly planned to run away and join the Marauder camp to the east. Now that you know her location, just head to the camp and see if she's okay. Can do.
Fancy duds. Do the tubes get in your way? You mean Zoe? Yeah, we were pretty close. Not like her to go loping off.
Apparently it was.
Can't say I recall Zoe ever acting strange. Well, except for her habit of writing things down on scraps of paper. She called it journaling, but I think it's just plain odd. You sound like some type of corporate fixer asking all these questions. Hey, I got time. Fresh off the limb, and that includes canid meat.
Oh, that seems better. And it gives me a lockpick. Oh, I can't afford it. Gotta get to a workbench to start using some of these mods.
You hungry? We got canid ribs, canid flank, canid snout too. Something I can help you with? Fresh off the limb, and that includes canid meat.
How do I pull up my partner's inventory again? Comma. I'll be reminded what these companion controls do. Companion move, companion 1 special ability, companion 2 special ability, companion attack. Okay, so just move, attack, and ability. Those are candidates, it's gross. These marauders.
Got it. Heads down. Here we go.
shot? Oh.
I don't know anybody who ever came out this far.
Right in the vitals! That had to hurt.
So, you got that?
Oh, I killed all of her friends.
Wow, you crossed them all off, like some sort of heroic accountant running down a list. Teach me your ways. What? You mean Adelaide's little congregation of nature-loving nobodies? I could not possibly be less interested in them. You, on the other hand, you were a sight to behold. If I had half your skills, I'd be the greatest outlaw the coast has ever seen. Why? Adelaide wants me back on garden duty or something? Thanks, but I'm not going anywhere. This is where I belong. And no serial dramas. I've been thinking about going back. I just gotta know if Lord Cavendish really is the masked marketeer. I'll take my stuff and head on back, I suppose. Grace is gonna be glaring knives at me, so I've got that to look forward to. I'm great at clarifying. No. I insinuated myself into their company, see? And they didn't seem to mind one whit. I don't know. The vital processes that constitute the miracle of life are mysterious and unknowable. Oh, you mean around these guys? The Marauders wouldn't hurt me. They love me. I'm practically their queen. Yeah, must be my natural charisma. I may have bartered them a few boxes of Adrena time, but yeah, I'm sure that's got nothing to do with it.
Or everything.
I've got all the time in Halcyon. Look, I already bought what you were selling me. Just give me some time to gather up my personals.
Alright, looks like nothing to do but, oh. Return to camp.
What is it? We didn't always get along, but I'm glad to know she's safe. What happened, anyway? Zoe joined up with a band of marauders. Zoe. The same Zoe who doesn't know a barrel from a trigger. Well, I've heard stranger things.
Isn't that a show?
You pretty much did my job for me. Least I could do is pay you for your trouble. Let me know if I can do something for you.
Nice. Wait, no. Damn, I need one more point. Sweet. All right, let's take out the robot first, and then make a decision here. Don't think I can actually leave this way, can I? Maybe I can. Oopsie. Already been there? Terraforming is still a young science for humans, and the results have been unpredictable, particularly with the effects on native flora and fauna. Tactical time dilation drains extremely slowly when you're not shooting. Take a few moments to examine your enemy, learn about their armor, health, and weaknesses. Faster than light ship drives are commonly called skip drives because they allow ships to approach and then skip past the speed of light. The original naming scheme for planets of the Halcyon colony was chosen by the head of the Halcyon Holdings corporate board. Oh yeah, I passed by this place.
Oh, look out! Everyone all right?
N-rays are an exotic effect discovered in the early 20th century. N-ray attacks cause internal damage to a target, which then radiates more N-rays to surrounding targets.
The control room should be off. Right. Hope we're doing the right thing. Dang, that's impressive. That was quick.
Long guns, nice. Okay. Why is the DPS so low? Is it in bad condition? No, this is 100% condition.
Look it up. Down they go. Coming.
Heavy weapons, I don't have that one. I don't think. Oh, that's just damage type, okay. The colors.
Gosh, that's close.
What is it saying I have 41 of? Oh, skill maybe? Lockpicking skill? Seem right? Yep.
Ready for this. Wow, not even a scratch! That's the last of them!
Where would I find that? Key. Man, I gotta get to a workbench. I have all these weapon mods now. That looks useful. Looks like I don't have the lockpicking skill for it.